Welcome back to JTV News. Geographical Information Systems, or GIS mapping, can now be used to identify and differentiate between the various electoral boundaries throughout the Virgin Islands. This process of determining electoral boundaries was difficult in the past because boundaries were determined by using maps with imaginary lines. Earl Forbes, GIS officer in the Lands and Survey Department within the Ministry of Natural Resources and Labor, explains how GIS technology has solved this problem.
Previously, as you can see from this map, it was very difficult to use, and if you just superimpose it on the map, it was very difficult in determining where you are registered or where your boundaries are, especially if you're in close proximity to an electoral boundary. Right. So with these maps, we were able to use the GIS to show various layers, your aerial photograph layer as well as your cadastral boundaries overlain with your electoral boundary layer, and we were able to determine as to where your property is located in close proximity, very close proximity to the actual boundaries. And from this, we have determined this is the 6th district. Someone may not have been familiar that the 8th district goes all the way up to the Bellevue corner up there. So therefore, it shows you that it's a narrow strip of land, and these people that are living in these areas may be a bit concerned or was a bit concerned, or they may have been even registered in the 6th district before. And right now, the GIS was able to clarify that to show them in relation to where they are. We also have another section depicting Rotown, the boundaries of the 4th district, that some people may not be very sure about as well. It's a dense area and the boundaries are very tight. So from this you can see the extent between the 3rd district. It actually has a number of districts that the 4th district touches. It touches on the 3rd, it touches on the 2nd, it touches on the 5th. So with that, you can see that the whole Rotown area being very dense as it is, you're able to show where the actual electoral boundaries fall. And that way, you'll be able to determine now if there's any uncertainty as to where your registration district should be.
An exhibition to highlight the varied use of GIS technology formed part of the 16th Annual World Town Planning and Geographic Information Systems Day held on November 18th. The GIS experts told JTV News that data acquired using the technology also helps with monitoring fish stock and marine protected areas.
We use GIS to monitor different aspects of our environment. In this one poster, we're highlighting how GIS is used to monitor marine protected areas. In conjunction with the National Parks Trust and the Ministry of Natural Resources and Labor, we have embarked in a project to map a lot of our marine protected areas. Some of those areas include fishing zones, wetland areas like in Anegada and around our ponds and so forth, and marine parks. So by using these systems, we can tell what type of activities can occur in each of the different zones. For us, where conservation and fisheries is concerned, we're concerned with type of fishing activity in certain zones. Certain zones are only for licensed commercial fishermen to fish in, and we wouldn't want other persons to just come and fish in those areas, which is illegal anyway.
Is this information, this technology also used to assist fishermen in determining where they go to fish as well?
Yes. Each fisherman has a logbook given to them when they apply for licenses, and on that we have a map, like a grid of the whole of the BVI, and they have certain information mapped on it, like fishing zone, fishing banks, and on that map we also want them to use it to identify the areas where they fish. So that information coming back to us, telling us their fish catch, what they catch, when they catch, and so forth, will help us to also determine to know exactly what's out there, what is being fished and what they're bringing in, and we can determine those areas that are not heavily impacted by fishing activities and other areas where are viable, so that we can, maintain a balance with all of it. So all of that depends on their cooperation with us.
GIS has long been used to guide development planning, and Deputy Chief Planner in the Town and Country Planning Department, Dylan Penn, explains how the advanced technology helps to improve building location and other planning functions.
using our conceptual modeling software to design, for example, the 3D buildings of different areas. This area just happens to be Road Town. But once we design them in the conceptual software, how do we put them in the local context? This is where the GIS technology comes in. The ArcGIS helps us to now bring up the aerial of the various areas. Say we want to plan Road Town, so we bring up the aerial of Road Town and accurately place the 3D models, link the software and place the 3D models in the aerial so that we could see how they react to different things in the community and just really to place them in a local context to allow people to better understand. One of the primary things we use, and not only in planning, but the development control, which is another section of the department that monitors development applications, we have the handheld GPSs so that allow us to take this ArcGIS technology out into the field, map different points, map different areas so that we can know accurately the location of guts, the location of environmentally sensitive areas, as conservation and fisheries will probably go into more detail on. But once we have the location of all the environmentally sensitive areas and areas that are prone to landslides and erosion, then we could accurately say now when we go in and when we get the development applications that you can't necessarily build in this area or build this structure in this area because it's a certain hazard in this area and that area. So these handheld GPS devices allow us to take that GIS technology out into the field and use it now to enhance our decision-making processes.
And I'm getting from you that it's very important for landowners, home owners and builders to take your information seriously because you're giving them credible information.
Oh, definitely. And this is what GIS technology does. It forms a basis, a foundation, an accurate foundation for you to know to make decisions from. So when we're telling you that based on our research that this area is an environmentally sensitive area, this should be taken seriously because it could not only cause problems for your property, but it could cause problems for other properties around you and down the road.
GIS data is also being used to assist law enforcement agencies to conduct covert crime fighting activities. The exhibition held in the West Atrium of the Government Administration Complex was geared to deepen an understanding of GIS and the planning process. It was held under the theme Discovering Our World Through GIS and Planning.